In March 1983, Michael hit number one again with Billie Jean. It would stay atop the charts for 7 weeks, primarily because of the impact of the Motown 25 appearance, but also as a result of the video Michael made for the song. When his people approached us about doing the video for Billie Jean, they didn't have any ideas at all, recalls Simon Fields, who produced the Billie Jean video. Fields says that the concept came from its director, Steve Barron. Basically, Michael was just following our direction, he said, but the guy is a genius, so you can count on him to do wonderful things. Billie Jean, the first video from the Thrill album and Michael's first major music clip, is ultimately too artsy for its own good. In a series of abstract shots, Michael plays a high-tech hide and seek with a stocking probably a photographer, the only other major character, clearly suggesting Michael's paranoia about the press. However, Billie Jean, the song about a girl who haunts Michael, insisting that he is the father of her son, boasts too strong and visual a storyline to have been so overlooked in his video. In the end, the video is largely a series of odd scenes strung together. Michael Jackson's biggest advance with this video was in showing viewers a new side of him, where Michael was cool, mysterious, and invasive. The most compelling moment in Billie Jean comes as usual to Jackson when he dances with each step he takes. The sidewalk underneath his feet lights up as if infused by it. As Michael would say, magic. Michael demonstrated more of his depth dancing abilities in his excellent Beat It video, while he had begun with only a vague concept for the Billie Jean clip. He knew precisely that he wanted for Beat It. Veteran commercial director Bob Guaraldi and Broadway choreographer Michael Peters collaborated with Michael on what would be one of the most dynamic and expensive videos to date. The choreographed ensemble dancing in Beta will be often imitated in years to come and is still a staple in the videos of many pop artists. Perhaps of all the members, Michael will have presented his fans during his career. The Beat It video marked the biggest departure. As a song, the track was unadulterated rock and roll, something Michael's core fans, and especially the majority of his black ones, initially rejected. Beyond that, the video decepted a Jackson never before seen. Michael as urban dweller, a kid living on the wrong side of the tracks, a human Michael. One of Michael's public, particularly those living in urban neighborhoods, found the storyline patronizing. In Beat It, which Michael said was written with youngsters in mind, he is the good guy who ultimately stops two powerful gangs from warring with each other. Those viewers unable to separate Michael Jackson, the musical enigma from Michael Jackson, the actor, missed the point when they asked angrily, why does he know about gangs? And does he really think about dancing through the problems we're having down here? Muggings, killings, drug addiction? And the answer to our woes? The point is, no one has to be the tough guy, Michael would explain. You can walk away from a fight and still be a man. You don't have to die to prove you're a man. Visually, Michael's video was convincing enough. Shot in locations in the mean streets of Los Angeles, it looked dark and grimy on a quest for authenticity. 100 members of two real-life rival Los Angeles street gangs were hired as extras and atmosphere people. They were each fed and paid $100 for 2 nights' work. The games were sort of on the periphery of the location. Choreographer Michael Peters once said, so Michael really didn't have to deal with them, but he was a little nervous, as we all were at the beginning. However, he was wonderful with them. I think the turning point was when the gangs saw us dance. They had, I think, I did respect for that. Michael signed autographs and took pictures with them. Acting was easy for Michael. He'd done a form of it on stage, singing all his life. However, with ensemble dancing, he found himself on uncharted terrain. Fans had never seen Michael on a Broadway style setting, and some of them probably wondered why a hoofer like Michael needed someone to teach him steps, but choreographer Michael Peters succeeded in creating a dazzling funk chorus line like dance effect. It all looked so easy. It seemed that anyone could do it, but just try. Looks can be deceiving, especially when it comes to dance, Michael explained with a grin. Overall, the clip is rock theater at its best. Its style and artistry actually succeed in making the music more interesting, which has always been the ultimate goal of music videos. What's really interesting about Michael's thriller videos, however, is that they boosted the popularity of the then fledgling MTV network. MTV, the 24-hour-a-day cable station that played only music videos, became a phenomenon when it began airing in 1981. Yet by 1983, it really played the videos of black artists. The station's format was strictly rock and roll, said Bob Pittman, the executive vice president and chief operating officer of Warner Amex Satellite Entertainment Company and the driving force behind MTV. Pittman's definition of rock and roll excluded most black artists from the station's playlist. In fact, of the over 750 videos shown on MTV during the channel's first 18 months, fewer than 2 dozen featured black artists. It was acceptable to have Phil Collins sing the Supremes, You Can't Hurry Love, and Hall & Oates singing other black-sounding material. Yet the real thing was completely unacceptable on MTV at the time. When videos of black artists were submitted, they were quickly rejected as not being rock and roll. MTV's research and marketing departments had somehow decided that white kids in the suburbs did not like black music and maybe were intimidated by black people. There was nothing wrong with that. Bob Pittman reasoned, after all, Bloomingdale's wouldn't work if it carried every kind of clothing ever made. Bob Giraldi, director of Michael's Beat It video, was summed up many black critics' opinions of MTV when he said that the station was run by racist bastards. Motown recording black no. Motown recording artist Rick James, whose videos have been rejected by the station, also charged that the network was racist and had set black people back 400 years. Bob Pittman was probably not a racist, but he and MTV certainly catered to white suburban racism. When CBS submitted Michael Jackson's Billie Jean to MTV, the cable station quickly rejected it. CBS then threatened to pull all of its other videos from MTV unless they ran Beat It. Michael Jackson had become so popular, Bob Pittman and suburban white America simply could not ignore him. Finally, in early March 1983, the Billie Jean video was played on MTV in so-called heavy rotation, meaning often during the day. Be It followed. After that, MTV began to play a few more videos by black artists, and though the network still leans heavily toward like rock and roll, at least some black artists, though not many, received airtime, mostly as a result of the Michael Jackson breakthrough so many years ago.